Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. In this particular video, we are going to discuss the accounting fundamentals that includes the two sets of financial statements, income statement and the statement of financial position. Now, both these documents are very important because they will not just be used in the context of a business, but will even be used by external stakeholders. So let's move on towards the contents of an income statement. An income statement, as you can see, it basically reflects the profitability. Managers, shareholders, banks, governments, and even suppliers, employees, customers, they all use the income statement for certain information. All right, so we have sales revenue. And how do we calculate sales revenue? By multiplying the selling price per unit into the unit sold. It is also known as total revenue in some cases. One thing additionally that I would like to tell to people is that whenever we talk about a minus sign in accounting, we denote it by brackets, by the use of brackets. All right. So what we do is we deduct the cost of sales from the sales revenue. And the cost of sales is referred as the cost incurred to bring the good in saleable condition. For example, if I have a marker and I don't invest much onto the materials, the ink, the plastic, or I do not pay my labor enough, the one who is responsible to assemble that particular marker in the form of a finished good, so I will not be able to sell that marker. So cost of sales basically includes material and labor, the direct material and the direct labor. So once you have deducted the cost of sales from the sales revenue, you're going to get an amount that is going to be termed as gross profit. From the gross profit, you're going to deduct your expenses, the expenses that have not been included in the cost of sales, the expense of rent, electricity, or any other likely expense that your business may be incurring. Once you have deducted those expenses, you're going to get an operating profit. Now, mind you that these accounts are being presented in the context of a company. Had this been a context of a sole trader, the amount known as operating profit would be replaced with net profit, because the sole trader does not have to pay taxes or dividends to its shareholders. The legal structure does not allow for that. So just in the context of the companies, we study that amount as operating profit because there would be further deductions from that particular amount to various stakeholders, such as the government. So you first pay interest to the banks, then you get an amount known as profit before tax. And since we are talking about a company right now, for companies, for public limited companies, it is mandatory, it is compulsory to pay taxes on their profits. The tax known as corporation tax, it is a compulsory requirement for all those companies out there. The percentage would obviously vary from year to year. It would depend upon the government's objectives of regarding the economy, but nonetheless, it's an important payment. So once you have deducted the tax, you get an amount known as profit after tax, or the amount that is available for the distribution of dividends. And what do we mean when we talk about dividends? Dividends are basically the payment given to our shareholders at the end of the year. And unlike interest, dividends are not a fixed cost. They depend on the company policy. Company announces the dividends in a likely year at the event known as annual general meeting. So unlike interest, dividends do depend on the prospects of the company. If you're having losses, you may postpone the payment of dividends and you may not pay dividends in that particular year. But if you have taken a loan, you need to pay interest at any cost. So when you talk about dividends, they vary from year to year, and companies, they do review and revise their dividend policies. Once you have deducted the dividends, you get an amount known as retained profits. And as you can see, it is known as an internal source of finance. So this amount solely belongs to the management. The best thing about retained profits is that, for example, if I take a loan from the bank, I need to pay interest. If I issue shares, I might need to pay dividends. But in the case of retained profits, I don't need to pay anyone anything. So that is why companies have retained profits as a priority when it comes to raising sources of finance. So now let's move on to the heads of accounts when it comes to a statement of financial position. First of all, assets. Assets are primarily the resources that are providing the business with some kind of economic benefit. And what do I mean by economic benefit? For example, if you have a van, you will be using it for transport of raw materials to and from the business, or finished goods to and from the business. So Just like any other classification, assets can be divided into non-current and current assets. The non-current assets would be those resources that the business would expect to retain for more than 1 year. The economic benefit obtained from such non-current assets are going to last for more than 1 year. You have a building that is being that is being a source of an office operation. You have a van that is being used for transport. You have an equipment that is being used for communication. All these non-current assets are going to last for more than 1 year and are going to provide you some kind of economic benefit. And when you talk about current assets are those assets that businesses do not expect to retain for more than 1 year. Those current assets such as inventories, receivables, they are usually converted into cash to facilitate the payment of short-term obligations or short-term debts, or otherwise known as current liabilities. So current assets are also the resources owned by the business but which will not have a life of more than 1 year and may have significant changes in their value throughout the entire accounting period on an annual basis. Now, the other head of account, which is exhibited or shown in the statement of financial position, is something known as liabilities. And when we talk about liabilities, liabilities are classified or considered as the amounts that a business would owe to other businesses or the amounts that a business would owe to the third parties. And just like assets, liabilities can even be classified or categorized into two different portions, such as one being the non-current liabilities and the other being the current liabilities. And since liability is the amount that you owe to third parties, so when you talk about non-current liabilities, these are the obligations on a business that the business expect to pay over a couple of years and not within 1 year. For example, you take a loan from the bank for 5 years. That would be classified as a non-current liability. On the contrary, if you talk about a current liability would be an obligation that the business would expect to pay back in a period of less than 1 year. Coming on to the third one, that is capital. And capital refers to the amounts that are being invested into the business by its owners. And in the context of a company, since we are studying in the context of a company, it may refer to the amount that is invested into the business by the shareholders. Whenever shareholders buy the shares of your company, they give you money. And that money is known as share capital. So these are the three different heads of accounts which follow a certain equation, and the accounting equation is that assets would equal the total amount raised by liabilities and capital. So for example, you are investing in buildings, you need to start up your own business, you need buildings, you need equipment, you need inventory, and all these three assets cost a total of 100 million. Now obviously the amount required is 100 million, so what you're going to do is you're going to raise this amount. And why do you need this amount? In order to invest in the assets of your business, the buildings, equipment, and inventory. And what you did was that you invested 60 million from your own pocket, from your own savings. So that's going to be your capital, 60 million, but you still need the 40. You take a loan from the bank. The loan has been granted from the bank, which is a liability. So the total amount of 100 million, in the form of assets was raised by 60% capital of your own and 40% liability. A statement of financial position in the context of a company would primarily look like this in most cases. So you have non-current assets, as you can see, and then you have current assets that follow. And current assets are placed in that particular order where you have inventories, receivables, bank, and cash. So what you do is that you add all these current assets to get a total of the current assets that you currently have, or that you have on to the last date of the financial statement of the financial accounting period. All right. So these are your total current assets. Now what you do is you subtract the current liabilities from these current assets. Bank overdraft and trade payables, you subtract them, and then you get an amount that is known as working capital. The surplus of current assets over your current liabilities is an amount that is known as working capital, which has so much significance for all those businesses out there, because this amount is referred to as the lifeblood required to pay for the day-to-day expenses and facilitate the running of the business on a daily basis. And this amount is extremely crucial, because if you don't manage this amount well, this may cause crisis when it comes to payment of your current liabilities or your short-term debts. So once you have your working capital with you, you add the non-current assets, the figure you can see at the top, with the working capital in order to get the amount that is known as net assets. Now, this is one side of the SOFP. The other side would include the money that you have earned or that you have raised, primarily being from non-current liabilities, which would include the long-term loans. And the non-current liabilities would represent the liability part in the accounting equation, followed by the capital. And the capital would include the share capital, the money that you've raised from your shareholders, and also any retained profits. So you're going to add your share capital and your retained profits to get an amount known as total equity, and then you're going to sum it with non-current liabilities to get an amount known as total equity and liabilities, or total financing in other words. So it's very important that these two totals, the total of net assets and the total of total equity and liabilities, should match, because the accounting equation otherwise will not stand true.